KVRR Local News, where local news comes first.
Thanks so much for sticking with us. Okay, you know, in the wonderful world of TV, we are kind of all about video, and that brings me to my guest. This is Lars Knobloch, and he is a home inspector here in the area. He started this really nifty new video series on Facebook that kind of is, let's just call it an eye-opener for anybody who's out there looking to buy a new home. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
So what was it that gave you the idea to put some of this stuff on video? You said you almost wanted to scare people, right?
Yeah, we kind of try to scare people to awareness. We see on a day-to-day basis how people, they're not keeping up with their maintenance, and we see the consequences of that. We have become very passionate about trying to educate our community with the little things you can do to prevent bad things from happening to their house, and Facebook is kind of the way we're trying to reach out to people with that.
So, okay, let's take a look at some of this video when we get the opportunity. You gave us this example of some electrical wiring problems that you said were a shocker, is the way to put it, maybe? Tell me what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so this was a house from the 1950s. It was a really tight attic space, and I could tell no one's ever been in there before because there was no tracks in the insulation. The insulation was original, and I made it all the way to the other side, and I found this wall of electrical nightmares where we had exposed live energized wires covered in dust and insulation, and it's most likely been like that since the house was built.
Sure, and you know, if you haven't updated your wiring in a long time, you know, all it takes is dry conditions and a spark, and that's the end of your house.
That is it.
Not to mention putting your family in pretty much harm's way,
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So you've shown us video of people whose gutters were emptying into their window wells.
Yeah.
What other things have you seen out there?
Well, some of the most funny things we've seen is, that is one with water or the downspout discharging into the window well. We have other things where we found people drying their meat in the garage attic. Dead mouse in the water softener is always a classic as it dissolves into your drinking water, ice cubes, your soup.
Mouse cubes.
Yeah, mouse cubes.
Right.
Yeah. We have come over foundations that's to the point that it can't be repaired, and homeowners trying to hide it by framing out walls in front of it. Which that house was beyond repairs, and it just shows the importance of having the house looked at before you buy it, because it's the biggest investment you make in your life, and it's a fairly small amount to have a home inspector to come take a look at it.
Right. It kind of indemnifies you against making an unwise purchase that isn't going to be a home for very much longer for you and your family.
Right.
Yeah. Lars Knobloch, thank you so much for joining us. He's with Nordic Home Inspections. If you do a search on Facebook, you can find his amazing, really eye-opening videos. We'll have a link on our website, KVRR.com. Don't go away. We'll have more weather for you right after the break.
You're watching KVRR Local News, where local news comes first.
Okay, we talked a lot about the hazards out on the roads. Now we're talking about the hazards right there in your own home. I don't mean to scare you if you're still sitting there at home watching us, but there's a lot going on out there thanks to our crazy winter weather. And for that, we're going to head on over here to talk to our friend Lars Knobloch from Nordic Home Inspections. We've had you on the show before. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Okay, so he has been working really, really hard. I would imagine your job does not get any easier when these conditions are this extreme.
We had some tough days,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, let's take a look at that video we've been rolling this morning. This is a look at Lars hard at work, if you want to go ahead and play it. He didn't need a ladder to do a roof inspection, right? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, the drift was so high up there we could just walk right up on the roof. So I'm considering selling all of our ladders now. I don't see the end of this winter.
There you go. They're just taking up storage space at this point anyway, right? Okay, all fun and games aside, this snow is creating some serious problems for you guys, isn't it?
There's definitely, first of all, there's a lot of things we can't see in the winter because of all the snow, but there's a lot of things we actually can find too that almost will be impossible to find in the summer.
Okay.
So there's definitely benefits from having homes inspected even now.
Okay.
But we come over some safety hazards that homeowners are not thinking about, like your furnace exhaust will freeze over.
Wow.
And carbon monoxide could go back into your home. So if you after every blizzard, you need to take a walk around your house and make sure that your furnace exhaust is free from snow and ice. Same with the gas meter. We came over a house where we couldn't even find the gas meter.
Wow.
And then the gas flow to your gas appliance will be obstructed.
Right.
One thing we see in nearly 100% of the homes we look at is that window well or the basement egress window is just completely filled with snow.
Now, why is that a problem?
That is a problem because if there's an emergency and you need to get out, there's absolutely no way you can get out because the egress is obstructed.
Right, you can't dig through all that snow.
No,
Right? Yeah.
and very few people will have a cover on the window well, which we always recommend
Okay.
to prevent this from happening. And even in the winters when there's hardly any snow in the window well, the window will freeze just because of that, unless you have a cover on it. So that's something we always recommend.
Let's talk a little bit about radon. That was the other thing that I hadn't really been aware of until things got so piled up later this winter.
Yeah, so radon is a radioactive gas that comes from uranium in the soil, and all of North Dakota and western Minnesota is known to have higher radon. Many homes will have a radon mitigation system, and pretty much all of them at this point are frozen over.
Oh.
And that means they're not operating any longer.
Oh no.
And then radon levels in a home could get higher. And if you have a radon mitigation system, chances are that it was once tested to be high, right?
Right.
So there's some ways of kind of improving that situation. You could try to remove the snow from the vent on the radon system, but it could be kind of dangerous. It could be 8 to 10 feet or higher off the ground, right?
So yeah, lots to think about there.
Yeah, and we have some tips there on our website, on our blog, and we have posted some tips on our Facebook page as well on how you can kind of try to stay on top of things.
Tackle those problems before they get to be really deadly. Lars, we are out of time. Thank you so much for showing up. We have barely brushed across all of this stuff that he's got. In terms of tips for you, we're going to have all of that on our website right after the show. Lots more information. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Thank you.
And don't go away. We're going to come back with another look at what movie buffs look forward to each year, the Oscars. When we come back, you're going to get a look at KVRR's winner predictions. Don't miss it.